Hello, my name is Eduardo de la Peña. My team is Blackjack, and we are going to talk to you about how we design this game.
The presentation is divided into 4 sections. The first one is the problem and solutions we faced and made during the development of the game, primarily during its initial phase. Then we have the analysis section, which basically explains the input, the process, and the output of the pseudocode we developed. And in the next section, we have the final product, which was the code we developed on Microbit. Finally, we have the conclusions of what we learned during the project.
Well, this obviously is the first section, program, solution. How do we set up the logical infrastructure of the game? First, how do we make a virtual deck? As you know, in Blackjack, you have to draw a random card from the deck, but Microbit does not have a function like this. What we did was to focus on the value of these cards, reason why we choose to use a function of random value from the range of values cards of a deck have. This made it way easier for us and the player to get a card assigned to him without exceeding the capabilities of Microbit. Second, how do I take another card? As you probably know, when you are playing Blackjack, you can choose another card in order to increase your score. Reason why we wonder how to add this special function to the game. We realized that we could use one of the 2 buttons in order to let the player add a card to its score. This button ended up being the button B. Third, what about the dealer? When you're playing alone, you are actually playing against the dealer. Reason why, in order to maintain things simple, we choose the following. The dealer at the start of the game will assign a random value between 15 to 25, which will remain until the game is restarted. If this value was changed to 18 to 23, the game will obviously be way harder. 4. What about the ace? We assign the value of ace card to 1. When player get a card with the value of 1, is capable of choosing its value with a bottom A. This in order to switch from 1 or 11 and vice versa. How do I end the game? In order for the player to finish the game, bottoms A plus B must be linked. This will compare your score to the dealer, and the winner will be chosen based on Blackjack rules.
2. Analysis. Input, process, output. How do we apply the information we collected and code? When the code starts, player is set to a number between 1 and 10. If player equals 1, the ace function is called. Then the score is set to player plus score and the score is printed. If the button A is not pressed and button B is pressed, then call function add card. Player analysis. So, if score is greater than dealer and less or equal to 21, you win. If score is less than dealer and dealer is less or equal to 21, you lose. If score is less or equal to 21 and dealer is greater than 21, you win. If score is greater than 21, you lose. If score is equal to dealer and less or equal to 21, tie. If score is equal to 21, you win. Dealer analysis. When the code starts, you set dealer to a random number between 15 and 25. Button B, take card analysis. Well, button A not pressed. If button B is pressed, call the function addCard. The function addCard sets player to 0 and then to a random number between 1 and 10. Then it shows that number. If player equals 1, ace function is called. Else score is changed by player and the numbers are shown. The ace function is when player equals 1 and ace will be shown to the player. If button B is not pressed and button A is pressed, change player between 1 and 11 and between 11 and 1. When button B is pressed, add that value to score. Button A plus B endgame analysis, it's the same as we saw in the last slides.
In the section 03, we made the final product in microbit with the pseudocode we developed and the problem solution we had in the beginning. As you can see in the first part of the code, we have the dealer's code, which basically sets its value between a number of 15 to 25. Then we can see some lines of code, which basically define the initial player of the player, which goes from 1 to 10 because it's only its first card. Then we have a condition wherein if player equals 1, we will call ace function, as this goes under the traditional blackjack's law. After that, we can see how the score is set by adding the player to the score. Obviously, in the beginning, the score is going to be 0. Under this, we can see a while loop, the first loop we actually have in all our programmation, which says that basically when the button A is not pressed and if the button B is pressed, it will let the player grab another card. In all of these lines of code, it is basically the ace function that my partner explained previously, where if the player equals 1, the game will tell you that you have picked an ace, or basically the ace in blackjack. And if you press button A, you can change between the value of 1 and 11 that the ace might have. Finally, we have the code of the grabbing or adding a card to your score, which obviously just makes your score bigger, and that's it. Next, and finally, we have the programmation we developed in order to finish a game, which uses a loop and multiple if conditions. Finally, we have the individual conclusions of each member of the team. With this project, I was able to develop not only my computational skills, but logical, cognitive, and organizational capabilities. I learned how to correctly apply logic between both computers and modern life problems, how to recognize patterns, and how to organize all of the ideas from a natural language to pseudocode, and finally to an operating code. I learned how to successfully program as a team and not only as an individual. Not that I only learned how to do things, but that code isn't actually so simple. It's almost like a car. It requires multiple pieces to be joined together in order to it be able to operate in harmony. Overall, I believe I discovered that I actually enjoy solving problems with the use of technology, mainly focused with what I learned during the course, but mainly focusing on the faculties of computational thinking.
This project was definitely interesting, as it tested my and my team's logic and problem-solving skills. For me, the most difficult part was the code, which was a mess at the beginning, but later we changed it and it could be easily understood. The pseudocode was also hard since we had to convert all of our ideas to cohesive sentences that make sense. and we had to reach an agreement on how to make the program. Another interesting thing is how I found innovative ways to cut corners in the code, making it more efficient. I worked well with my team and we helped each other along the way.
In this project, I was able to learn the importance of learning computational skills in our daily life and how to do programmation. In this project, it was as a game, but I'm sure that in the future, if I need it, I can use programmation in a higher level in a more easier way. Who knows? Maybe the future puts me in a career where where I need to develop even more in these skills. Or maybe if I'm a business owner, this can help me to develop a web page where I can sell my products. The future is for certain in e-commerce. And almost everything nowadays is based on computer data. In this project, I learned to understand in certain way this data, and this is the first step to do not remain in the past. Thank you for your attention and for your time.
Thank you. That will be it for this project. And we will include the links for both the game and our digital portfolio in the description.